Every caregiver has a story. This is Voices of Care, where real voices remind us we're never alone in this journey.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Voices of Care. This is where we honor the people who hold families together quietly, patiently, and often without recognition. Caregiving is rarely a straight path. It's messy, emotional, exhausting, but also incredibly meaningful. And today, I'm grateful to sit down with someone whose caregiving journey spans generations and borders. Jeffrey is caring for his father-in-law and sister-in-law in Ipoh. His wife is here in Singapore, and his mom who's living independently but still needs care. And somehow, he still finds time to volunteer and uplift the people around him. Jeffrey, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting.
I know this story is uneasy to share, but let's start from the beginning. Before caregiving became such a big part of life, who is Jeffrey? Who was Jeffrey?
Jeffrey is the young spoiled brat. So I think everything has a cycle. Mm-hmm. When we are young, our parents take care of us. Now it's our turn to take care of them. That's exactly what I tell my mom and my mother-in-law.
So a circle of life of sorts. And again, prior to all this, what was your day-to-day life like?
Okay, so when I'm young, I'm the youngest in the family. Mm-hmm. Everybody have to take care of me.
Okay.
Like, even wearing what to wear, I never do any housework. I don't have to do anything. Everything is done for me. Being the youngest, that's a privilege.
Oh, same here.
Yeah, but as we grow up, I think we learn to be more wise. Mm-hmm. And then we also love our family. Our family call both my in-law side and my home at home. Everybody is very close.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
Everybody care for each other. We try to help each other. And in Singapore context, everybody is busy. So as our parents age, they are worried that they are a burden to us. But we are worried that they have a fall or something happen to them. So it's always both ways. When I get to know you, I'm very happy. Later we'll talk more. Because today, our biggest concern is what happened to our family at home when we're out working.
Got it. These are some of the challenges we face, especially when our parents are getting older and we start to move into that role of caregiving. So perhaps let's talk a little bit more about your family in Ipoh. You have an 83-year-old father-in-law caring for your sister-in-law.
55.
And your sister-in-law is 55, right? And unfortunately, she has the mental capacity of a child.
Yes.
That's a heavy load for someone his age, especially your father-in-law,
yes.
right? Can you walk us through what caring for them looks like?
Okay. So basically, I'm fortunate to marry a wife. She's a Malaysian. So the family moved from Kran all the way to Ipoh. When we are dating, the time is very near, 1 hour. Now, if you drive, it's about 6-7 hours if you're speeding. If you are taking a bus, 11 hours. We have flights that go to Ipoh about 1.5 hours. Mm-hmm. But generally, my in-laws are very independent. They have a son, then my wife, and then an elder sister. Unfortunately, she has epilepsy, and also her brain development stopped at the age of maybe 10 to 12.
Okay.
So she's good, she's independent, but she is like a kid. That means you talk to a child, you have to reward, you have to set certain boundary. For the past years, everything is good because my mother-in-law is a very strong woman. She passed away last year, and she actually can handle the entire family well, even though they are 80 and 83. So we don't have to really worry about them. But since cancer kicked in for my mother-in-law, she started to be sick. Then my father-in-law have to be a caregiver for my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law who has a brain capacity of a child. So it's very taxing for him. He told me, Jeff, I have to be strong. I cannot be weak, even though I like to be weak. So that's when I started to think that at our age, I always call myself semi-retired at the age of 50. We plan well, we can retire early. So I always tell my wife, we should go back frequently, especially when my mother had cancer. We try to go back every month, every alternate month, and to take care of their needs. But that is so far. We're always worrying that something happened to them.
All right.
So later we'll talk more about what we can do for them. But ultimately, my mother-in-law passed away peacefully and happily. That it makes me even more worried because my father-in-law is hard of hearing and he can't see well.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, I will tell my wife, we need to have something to monitor them in case something happens at home. Mm-hmm. But I will go a bit more. So what really troubled me is that my sister-in-law, the child-like thinking, actually escaped from custody. I use custody because he's under custody care of my father-in-law twice. One in KL, out of the hotel. Thank God we saw her. Secondly, from our home. So this is very worrying, for caregiving because my father-in-law can't be watching her 24 hours. So I think we go back frequently. We have to be physically there. And it's quite disturbing for our life in Singapore also. Yeah.
I think this constant back and forth definitely will affect your Well, your day-to-day life,
financially and also very physically tiring.
I can imagine that. I can imagine that. Yeah. I mean, when your sister-in-law, when she wandered out, when she walked off from the hotel or from the house, I mean, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
Wow. Actually, my father-in-law never tell me. We know of it, like, what happened? And so I think because in Malaysia, it's not like Singapore. If you get lost, the police can send you home. In Malaysia, you could be raped, you could be killed.
Oh, that's true.
That's so dangerous, because she is a lady and she has very low intellectual. So I told my father-in-law, this cannot happen anymore. Though we try our best, but ultimately we can't lock her up because if there's a fire, that's also a problem.
It's another danger.
So we're always wondering what can we do. We have tried devices like tracking devices and things like this, but it's always if she's not carrying that device, how can we find her? So it's a scare. There's no solution until recently I met Ivan. I think whatever you propose to us is very interesting.
Thank you.
I will let you share about it.
Okay, sure. So, your father-in-law is not exactly, yeah. So how does he actually cope with all these from a emotional point of view and a physical point of view at 83?
Both my in-laws are Christian and they're very strong. Okay. So to him is that he always uses a very simple term. I love it now. Whatever comes is trivial. So I think that he's strong. Physically, the body, I can see he's getting weaker at the age of 83, but he's very disciplined and healthy. But I don't think he can cope well. That's why whenever we are there, it's a very strong moral support for him. But when we're not there, we make sure that the neighbors, the relatives, all the things are set out nicely so that it's less pressure for him. Because he also needs to have his lifestyle. He like to watch TV, he like to go on the internet, he's very internet savvy nowadays, older people. So when he's on the internet, again, we are staying in a double story. So he can't be watching over my sister-in-law who's in level 1, and he's in level 2. And I can't say, Appa, you don't do your thing, just watch it over the sister. We can't.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we really have to have a solution. And they are not open to having external helpers in the house because he's not comfortable.
Right. So just now you mentioned you travel very often to Ipoh, and what's the frequency like?
At least once or twice a month. I would say, that's why I say semi-retired, because thank God my business is quite auto-running. We train a good team of staff. So basically, whenever I can, unless there's an important meeting in Singapore, like meeting you today, I'm here. Otherwise, I'm free to go anywhere. That's the freedom of getting a good business structure.
Right. So having that whole setup, the system in place allows you to have a little bit more freedom in place, also to be able to travel up and down to take care of your family. Well, so caregiving remotely is a very different kind of stress, right? You can't physically be there all the time. But you can carry the mental load, which you do evidently, right? So how do you balance? I mean, I don't know if you ever felt guilt not being there physically all the time. So how do you balance that plus the worry plus the responsibility?
Nice question. Okay, first and foremost, I don't carry guilt because I always go above and beyond. Like I told my wife, we can't control when we die or when we leave this world, but we can control what we do before that day happens.
I love that.
Yeah, we can't control that, but we can. So whatever we do, I always tell my wife, I'm the best husband. Everybody loves Jeffrey. Why is it so? Because we put in our best today. What can I do today? So when I have a choice between work and family, I always choose family. And somehow the work will come around and it just turn out well. So it's all about choices. I have people I know, they choose work over family. And when the family member passes on, they cry as if tomorrow never come. But basically, why wait for that day? That's why caregiving is a joy. If you the reason why we're having this talk today. Caregiving is a joy if you know how to de-stress yourself, how to have positive thinking, because there are things that we can't control.
That's true.
Yeah. So my father will always say, today is the day. Don't wait for tomorrow. Because if you have the opportunity today, he said he will do whatever he can for the family. That's all he wants. We do whatever we can today.
I think that those are very interesting points. In fact, not too long ago, I had a mentor that shared with me. He asked me, Ivan, two questions. At some point in time, we need to ask ourselves two questions at our deathbed. First is, who do you want by your bedside at your deathbed? Yes. That's number one. Your friends, your family, your relatives, whoever you're close to. You need to know who you want by your bed when you're about to go and leave the world. I think the second question to me is even deeper. What do you want them to be thinking when they're at your bedside? Okay, so I think like what you have mentioned just now, right? You're guilt-free because you've always gone over and beyond to provide for your family, your loved ones, and that is, and that takes priority over your career, your work, because
definitely
love comes first, and then everything else will fall into place nicely thereafter, which I absolutely resonate with right now. I think that's a good point. Thanks for sharing that. On this side, maybe let's go to this side of the border now in
Okay.
Singapore. Okay, life isn't simpler because your wife has a chronic condition that weakens her legs, which means her mobility is a bit of a challenge. And your 79-year-old mom lives alone, but also requires the support.
This is my brother.
Oh, this is your brother,
But
requires
always at home alone.
Right. So let's talk about the life here in Singapore and what does caregiving over here look like on a day-to-day basis now with your wife and your mom?
Okay. So again, those that know me previously, I always attend appointment. Like for example, today I have an appointment with you. I try not to be late. But when it comes to the fact that if my wife need my help, sorry Ivan, I'm not coming. I have to cancel you. So this is my priority that I'll share. So my wife is very fortunate. She has a very weird chronic disease. So the first time we asked the doctor, how long does it take for her to recover? The doctor say, didn't you see the word chronic in front? Chronic, that means it's a long term. Yep. It's a long term. So it's a joke. So the chronic disease is quite a weird one, which actually causes the body to be in pain 24 hours for the past 10 years.
Okay.
And also it weakens the body. Of course, we're not going to share about religion here, but religion does help whatever religion you have. She's supposed to be wheelchair bound. So we already design and think of how to build the house to be wheelchair bound, wheelchair friendly, you know. But until today, she's on and off, getting stronger, getting weaker. So again, my concern, like my father-in-law said, will she fall down at home when I'm working? We are always having this worry about our family member because the biggest problem, my grandmother had a fall and she died when my mom was only 14 years old. So fall is really a biggest challenge besides the chronic disease, the cancer, everything, you can't help it. But you can prevent fall.
Right.
And you have to make the place safe. So I always worry about whether she falls, so we keep in touch. Then of course we want to have devices that we can watch what happened at the family. But it's always privacy versus what is there. But so that's for my wife. Again, she's weak, but we can communicate properly. My mom, she can't hear sometimes. So I have this argument with my brother. I say that, look, my father-in-law in Ipoh, I can kind of monitor them. You know, so why don't you have something? My brother said no devices in the house. So he's the head of the house because he's my elder brother. But after some years, I'm surprised he said that, okay, you can go and do it, you know, and get some monitoring device because we are all working. I mean, today's Singapore society, they are not as fortunate as me because I run sales, I run my own business, they are an employee. And nowadays, Zoom meeting, you know, working in the banks or in the manufacturing industry is very intense. You can't even look at your phone because you're having Zoom meeting and endless meeting after meeting. So I think that for us, I mean, three of us will co-share the responsibility. Weekday is my role. I bring my mom for lunch, or I bring her to buy some lottery. Old people enjoy this, you know. Then we end up with my brothers. And I want to share about something in Singapore. I just told you is that my dad, who actually is staying alone, and old people, they prefer to stay alone. They don't want to go to home. He actually had a fall a few years ago, and then he was at home on the floor for 2 days. Yeah, so he has some volunteer people who go and check the place and notice that he's not taking his lunch. And the civil defense go through the house and rescue him.
I see.
Now he's safely resting in the nursing home because he's now need a lot of care because dementia, things like this. So dementia, you know, intellectual like a child, you know, falling at home. These are all the things that as a caregiver, you always worry us. But like I share, there's nothing much we can do, but we can improve the safety for them.
Absolutely.
How we can monitor them.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when you share about your dad, he's not alone, as in there's so many cases we've been hearing that the elderly choose to live independent, which I fully understand. Good. It's good for them, it's good for the society. It's actually reduces some strain on our healthcare facilities as well. But the question is, how are we able to monitor them in a way that ensures their safety and well-being, right? Unfortunately, the social workers were visiting in 2 days. Yes. I mean, I've heard stories of elderly who passed alone for a week before they were discovered, and that's not great. You know, so fortunately, we have technology today that can help, and obviously, Aloe aims to be part of that ecosystem.
I'm so happy that you come out with this system.
Thank you, thank you. So Jeffrey, you're constantly switching between roles, right? From husband to son to son-in-law, brother-in-law. You know, so how do you navigate this emotional weight of all these different roles that you're playing right now? How do you balance yourself?
I have my me time.
Okay.
I have my me time, having coffee with people. You know, like this morning, I'm supposed to come at 9:30. I came at 7:30, and I go and have coffee.
Okay.
It's a raining day, you know, very comfortable. So I think we must learn how to take a break. Like I say, guilt, never let guilt. I mean, it's not about guilt. If you can't do it, you can't do it. Not everybody have the luxurious like me, running my own business. Some of them, they can't go to Malaysia. Like my brother-in-law, he has to look for a job, he has to work. Even the mother got cancer, he can't go and visit her. So not everybody have that. So guilt is when you have the ability to do it, but you don't do it. But if you don't have the ability, do your best, there's no need for guilt. So for me, you need to have a me time. The me time can be in your religious way or go to do something you like. Some people like to bake, some people like to play pickleball, they exercise. I don't exercise, I try my best, but generally do something that you like. I like coffee, I like to chit chat with friends, At the end of the day, caregiving is about caring for yourself. Then you can care for others.
Interesting. I think this is a very interesting point you brought up because there's so many caregivers that we speak with, and then we realize that because they are often so stuck into that day-to-day caregiving role, right? They don't take care of themselves. And a wise old lady once shared with me about sustainability in caregiving. And to me, that is of utmost importance because if you don't take care of yourself, you are not in a position to be able to take care of others. And now you become, or rather, in a way, you end up straining the system, and the person who needs care doesn't get that care, and they will add also strain to the system.
And you throw temper at them. Sadly, I will not mention names, but people very close to me who love their family a lot, but yet they abuse their family a lot. It's not that they subconsciously, so temper management is another thing for caregiver, because I always tell my wife, I've done everything already. This is the best Jeffrey you get.
Okay.
If you're not happy with this Jeffrey, then divorce me. It's very interesting. I always put the thing, because I always believe doing your best. You see, but when doing your best, and the person you give to is not responding as according to what you want, you throw temper at them, which is wrong. I think that then you have to walk away. Then you really have to leave them alone, even if they fall and they die. There's nothing you can do because when you throw temper at them, they are more upset. I have someone I know is 86 or so. He said, I'd rather they don't care for me. I wish I'm dead now. Because every time they're throwing temper at me.
But it's also I recently had this conversation with my children as well. I shared with them one thing is that if you think about it, very often we end up showing the worst of our sides to the people closest to us.
Sad.
Right?
So sad.
And to me, that's very sad because
Very sad.
the family is always the closest that we.
And you love them a lot. Not that you don't love them, but you are throwing temper
Exactly.
at them because you didn't take care of yourself.
Exactly. So it's
You
important.
exploding.
So you're right. So I think what you mentioned just now, right? You need to love yourself, take a break sometimes. Then you can be, have a clear heart, clear mind to execute that care sufficiently and well for the person itself. I think those are good points.
You should be guilty if you're not taking care of yourself. If you're asking about guilt as a caregiver, you should be guilty because when you don't take care of yourself, all your problem become the problem of the very person that you love. Yeah, right. You should be guilty.
That's true. That's true. I mean, a lot of caregivers suffer in silence because they don't want to burden others as well. But I think it's important to understand that when you open up and when you seek respite, it's not walking away from your duties, but it's like a battery. You need to recharge yourself in order to be able to execute your task properly, right? So perhaps this very interesting side. I mean, you're going through a lot right now, Jeffrey, with your family, with your work.
Everybody's worried about me.
I am.
Except me.
Exactly. And because not just that, we mentioned one thing earlier on, you're also involved in community service as well.
Yes,
so
I try my
you
best.
volunteer, right? Despite everything you are doing right now for your family, you still volunteer. You still shop for other people that's not even related to you in that sense, right? So why is giving back to the society so important to you?
Actually, I have no agenda. I guess it's the compassion within us, built in. So we don't have a best life when we're a kid. So when we see people in need, I think we try our best. Of course, when I talk about community volunteering, I use my mouth. I always tell my father-in-law, I don't physically go and clean houses because I myself don't clean my house. My wife will say, hey, clean your houses before you go and help people. So I think that volunteering is another thing that it makes you very happy. I mean, for me, it's an enjoyment. Like I said before, if you want to look for me, just look for me for coffee. Don't ask me, hey, let's have a big investment, let's have a big business. I'm not so keen in chasing after business, but I'm very keen to see someone being happy, being helped. And honestly, at the same time right now, that's why everybody wants to be a friend of Jeffrey. I'm not trying to be very proud, but because there's no condition. When you come to me as a friend, I never ask you for anything. But what can I give to you? Be I buy you a coffee, I buy you a meal. If I can help to raise funds for you, if you're running a good job, then I will do my best. I'll link up like, Ivan, you can meet this Helping Joy, the founder, who is helping elderly people who has nothing in return. Because a lot of projects are given to them, but no funding. So where does the money come from? You want to do charity, you need to be rich. I'm rich, yet there's only how much a person can do. So when we gather a group of people like yourself, I'm trying to get you to be involved. I think it will make the volunteering or the helping of people more effective.
Definitely. So has this, through all this volunteering work that you've done, has it changed your perspective on caregiving? Do you see similarities or you see any difference in a way?
Okay, like I shared, caregiving is whatever you can give. You can't give what you don't have. So it has not changed. I'm more involved in the fundraising part because in the business network, businessman, you ask them, hey, Ivan, can I have $200 for this one? You say, okay. Even maybe you're not so used to it, but it's very easy to raise funds among peers. But I think that what I see is a joy that we see in the people that we help. I mean, beside community, I help certain people with cancer, with whatever it is. I try to be their friends because I can't cure cancer. Neither can I tell you be happy you'll be healed because you will die. You will die. But do you want to live a meaningful life now before you die? Do you want to make healthy choices? But of course, they live. They didn't die, which is a good news.
So it's interesting. I mean, in a way, when you start giving, you also heal not just them, but yourself in a way.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's incredible because many caregivers feel drained, but you somehow manage to recharge by serving others
because
as
you give
well.
what you don't have.
That's
when
lovely.
you're a caregiver, you give what you don't have, you are very drained. You are draining yourself. You cannot do anything for anybody unless you yourself is filled up. Don't go with an empty tank. It is not a responsibility. There will always be someone there to help them.
Right.
If it's not there, it's not meant to be. But if you try to push yourself, say, I have to do it, there's a lot of people in need. You go overseas, you can't help everybody, but help the people closest to you, nearest to you.
That's good
First, start
advice.
for the family members. Don't scold them. Don't be angry with them. Be kind to them. Then expand around your circle.
Right. I think that's a very good advice, actually. In fact, I must admit, yesterday I had a bit of a flare-up with my kids, but, sometimes I wish that it's because I feel that we are such a blessed family, and we must also learn to not be maybe I would say we need to learn to appreciate what we have.
Yes.
And quite often we take things for granted.
Yes.
Right. And of course, I was a bit upset because, someone also shared with me once that we need to learn to be net contributors to the society and not net consumers to the society. We don't just take, we want to be able to give back.
Yes.
And I hope at some point, I've also signed up for volunteering work and I want to bring my family. I've shared with my boys. I said, I want to bring you guys to join me on some volunteer work moving forward. And the best part is they didn't say no. So but I think it's great experience and exposure for them and also to learn to be able to give back to society.
Yes.
So that's what we'll be doing. So as we move on, I would say, as we move on to the last part of the podcast, this thing we always, in all these caregivers that we speak about, that we speak to, right, it always comes back to one thing. Again, we spoke about it briefly just now, self-care, boundaries, and advisors. Caregivers always usually put themselves last because they feel that it's a duty, they feel there may be some form of a guilt sometimes,
Yes.
that if they walk away, something happens, they're responsible for it. But it's not sustainable. It's definitely not sustainable, right? And you did share, the way you care for yourself is have some me time, go for your own coffee breaks. So if I were to ask you, let's say, what boundaries do you set so that you can always have this me time? How do you build this boundary so that you know that you don't overstretch yourself? So what is the limit to you?
Okay, I just go back a bit. Not everybody is going to be as optimistic or as cheerful as me. Let's be realistic. Because of the character of the person. So when you know you have this weakness and you have no time, it's already no time. But not everybody, like I share, is a boss. They have to work. They have to work 12 hours. They have to bring the thing home. So at the end of the day, there's no one solution that fits all. But my advice is seek help.
Okay.
You see, Singapore, Chinese society is that we are very, very afraid to ask people for help.
Yes.
You are smart, you ask me for help, I can't. Yeah, because we feel that we owe people somebody or we cannot trouble people, so we have to take everything on our shoulder. If that's the case, I'm sorry, there's no solution for you, you will burn out. When you burn out, the one that you care for will suffer. So otherwise, because every situation is different, seek the help. Don't seek the wrong help. Some people are very negative. I tell you, everybody today, I keep seeing that everybody's complaining 2025 is the worst year, 2026 is going to be worse. Look, stay away from this kind of news. Stay away from this kind of people. No time, no money, I'm tired, Go and see time, that means positive thing. Go and see all the positive, 正能量, whatever.
Yes.
See all the positive things, And then like I share, some people, they really need money and they have no choice. But they also have to be a caregiver. So I have no solution for you. accept you. You don't even have time to have a me time. I mean, it's so easy to say, because Jeff, you're a boss. So seek help. See each situation is different. Seek help if you have done your best, and if the one that you care for somehow fall into some harm or even pass away because you didn't do a better job, you're sharing with me a story that you wanted to rush to a certain place. So it is not your destiny or it's not your responsibility. It is not your fault.
Exactly.
You just do your best. If it didn't work out well, there must be a reason. And then just move on from there, because there will be accidents, there will be things that you hope you could have done better. But it's over. No point crying over spirit. Don't bash yourself, Ask yourself, have I put in my effort, And that effort doesn't mean that you're going to put in a lot of work, because you need to charge yourself. Remember, if you don't charge yourself, you are empty, you keep pushing, the car will stall. You will end up.
I mean, you're absolutely right. There's a saying that's so true, right? You cannot pour from an empty cup.
You can't.
Right, and your story really reinforces that. So we're gonna end this. So Jeffrey, thanks for your honesty and your open sharing, your vulnerability. I mean, you caring for your loved ones in 2 countries, across 3 generations, and on top of that, you still find time to serve the community. That's amazing. I mean, your journey reminds us that caregiving is not just a responsibility. It's love expressed through action, patience, and presence as well. Yeah. So to all caregivers listening, you're not alone. Your struggles matter, your rest matters, and your story deserves to be heard. If Jerry's sharing has touched you, or if you have a story of your own, and we would love to hear from you at Voices of Care. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay.